Bro, imagine spending 15 years avoiding someone. 15 years of interviews, side comments, public shade, industry tension, and then one night on live television in front of millions of people, that person walks out onto your stage and says the one thing that makes your whole defense fall apart in real time. No cap, what happened at the Kevin Hart Netflix roast was not just a comedy moment. It was a confrontation that nobody saw coming. And the craziest part, Kevin Hart did not just take the hit, he fired back. And in doing so, he may have made everything 10 times worse for himself. Stay with me, because this one goes places. Alright, so before we get into what actually happened on that stage, you need to understand what these two men mean to each other and why this moment carried so much weight before a single joke was even told. Kevin Hart and Katt Williams have had one of the longest running feuds in comedy. We are talking 15 plus years of tension that has played out across interviews, podcasts, stand-up sets, and public callouts. And it was never really just about jokes. It was about career trajectory, about industry access, about who gets the opportunities and why. Katt Williams built his reputation on being the guy who said what others would not. He was sharp, he was fast, and in the mid-2000s, he was genuinely one of the most talented comedians working. And then here comes Kevin Hart, rising fast, getting the movies, getting the deals, building the kind of mainstream crossover career that Katt never quite landed. And Katt did not stay quiet about how he felt about that. Over the years, Katt made it clear he thought Kevin was manufactured, a product, someone the industry built and controlled rather than an organic talent who earned his spot. He said it in interviews, he said it on stage, he said it directly to anyone who would listen. And then, in early 2024, Katt went on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay podcast and the whole thing exploded. He spent hours going in on Hollywood, naming names, calling out industry behavior that most entertainers would never touch publicly. The internet treated it like a revelation. Overnight, Katt became this trusted voice, the man on the inside willing to finally expose the machine. Millions of people watched it, millions more shared it, and Kevin Hart's name came up more than once. So now you have got all of that history, all of that tension, all of that public narrative sitting in the background, and Netflix puts these two men in the same building for a live roast. Bro, the stage was already set before anyone said a word. Katt comes out and immediately the energy in the room shifts. You could feel it through the screen. This was not just another roast guest, this was personal history walking out under the lights. And Katt does what Katt does. He opens cold, tells Kevin the only reason they invited him is because Kevin has so little star power they had to start bringing his enemies. The crowd cracks immediately. Then he goes through the set, hitting Kevin on his movies, his Hollywood connections, his image, sharp, calculated, landing clean. But then he gets to the part that changed everything. Katt looks out at that audience and brings up Diddy. He says just because Kevin went to Diddy parties does not mean he did something wrong. Here is where it gets crazy. He pauses, lets it breathe, and then delivers the second half. The fact that he gets all quiet when you bring it up, that means he did something wrong. Bro, the room did not know how to react. You had people laughing, people shifting in their seats, celebrities in the front row doing that face where they are smiling, but their eyes are not. Because everyone in that building understood the weight of what just got said. This was not a random joke. This was Katt Williams, the man who spent 2024 positioning himself as Hollywood's truth teller, standing on a live Netflix stage and connecting Kevin Hart's name directly to the most controversial figure in the entire entertainment industry. The clip was on social media before the roast even finished. Within hours, it was everywhere. Now here is where Kevin Hart makes the decision that turned a roast moment into a full-blown story. Most people expected him to laugh it off, take the hit, clap back with something funny, move on. That is the roast contract. Everyone in that room signed up for it. But Kevin did not laugh it off. When he grabbed the mic for his closing set, he came out visibly fired up and went straight at it. He shouts, "I ain't been to no Diddy parties." Crowd reacts immediately. And then, no cap, he catches himself mid-sentence and corrects it. Goes, "I went to one party. One. I went to one party. Wait for it."
Because Kevin is not finished. He then pivots and points directly at Katt Williams. Says the only reason that man knows I was there is because he was there too. Katt was at the same party. I saw him. He saw me. He looked at me and said, shh. The building erupted, and Kevin kept going. Named names. Said Shaq was there. Usher was there. Said Shannon Sharpe was DJing. Said the Roots were the house band. His whole argument was that this was a normal industry event that half of Hollywood attended, and Katt had no business acting like it meant something sinister.
That wasn't a comedy special. That was a humiliation ritual. And everything that Katt Williams said on that stage was the absolute truth, especially when he pointed out to Kevin Hart, when I first met you, you were a 6'3" white man. Now, a lot of y'all may not believe in soul swapping and all that good stuff, but it's real, okay? I'm going to just leave it as that. In addition to that, when Katt Williams stood on that stage and said that he was the only one with a soul, he wasn't lying. Now, let's tap into the symbolism a little bit. If you look on the screen on the stage, there were two goats, two Baphomets, okay? The red, the color red, the energy, the whole nine. Now, let me just say this. A lot of people was mad about the George Floyd joke, but people don't realize that that was symbolism. It was a message in that joke, okay? Now, I cannot say too much on this video, but what I will say, if you go back to that time that the situation happened with George Floyd and what was going on then, and look at what's going on now with the situation in the water with that thing with the people on it, y'all get where I'm coming from, because I can't say it because they will flag my video. So with that being said, just start reading between the lines, because a lot of people always want to see everything ain't that deep. Baby, it is that deep. Everything ain't spiritual. Baby, everything is spiritual, okay? As above, so below, okay? With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, but it shit is always in our face and we fall for it every single time.
But here's the thing, bro. The internet did not hear a defense. The internet heard a confirmation, and that is where everything shifted. So now you have got Kevin Hart on live television having just admitted he attended a Diddy party while trying to deny attending Diddy parties, having just named half of Hollywood in the process, and having just publicly confronted Katt Williams in front of millions of viewers. And then something nobody expected happened. Kevin called Katt back to the stage, extended an olive branch, said he wanted to squash 15 years of beef right there in real time, said he wanted to be brothers. They shook hands in front of the whole crowd, and the audience genuinely lost it. Beautiful moment, the kind of thing that makes a highlight reel. Except Kevin grabbed the mic one more time immediately after and told the crowd to go back and look at that handshake. Said it was some of the best acting of his entire career. Said he did not mean a single word of it. And then, almost in the same breath, he walked it back. Said he meant every word. Said the beef is genuinely done. Said they are friends from today moving forward. No cap. Nobody watching knew what was real. Was it performance? Was it genuine? Was the reconciliation just content? The internet started debating it instantly, and that debate pulled even more people into the conversation who had not even watched the roast. But stay with me, because the detail everyone missed in all of this is actually about Katt, the man who spent 2024 telling everyone he could not be bought, that he was the last person in Hollywood with a soul, walked onto that stage, and when someone asked him why he was there, he said 4 words: for the money. That is it. For the money. Whether you think that is honest or hypocritical, that answer reframes the entire night differently. So here is where it all lands. No cap. Kevin Hart has not been accused of anything criminal. Neither has Katt Williams. Going to an industry party is not a crime. The names Kevin listed on that stage are not people under investigation. It was a party. People attended it. That is the reality. But reality and perception are two completely different things in 2025. And in an environment where Diddy has already been convicted, where old celebrity footage is being pulled and reanalyzed daily, where every connection, no matter how casual, carries a different weight than it did 5 years ago, standing on live television and voluntarily putting your name next to those parties is never going to land the way you intended to. Kevin tried to shut the story down. Instead, he handed the internet exactly what it was already looking for: a reaction, an admission, and a confrontation that felt too real to be just comedy. Katt threw the spark. Kevin poured the fuel. And Netflix got the most talked about roast moment of the year. That is the breakdown. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you are new here, hit subscribe because we cover this the second it happens. See you in the next one.